Hey everybody, welcome back to another Chippa in the third person. Hope you're all doing well today. It's Tuesday, we're almost at the end of April. Wow. On my way to work, as per usual, even though the majority of the world is under quarantine. Still got the mask, don't worry. Last night I finished another watching of the director's cut of Dr. Sleep. It's quickly becoming, it's just a movie that I'm in awe of. I loved the book. The movie I think might be better than the book. I love its tie-ins with the original Shining. It's just a masterpiece of a movie. And according to the box office numbers, you all slept on it. So you should get out there and see Dr. Sleep. It's not a pleasant experience, as is The Shining not a pleasant experience, but it's just a riveting little movie. Spoiler alerts for it if you haven't seen it yet, but brain shutting down, so the name I'm not going to remember. I'll remember it by the end of this. But the actor who played Elliot in E.T., and you've known from things I've done, I'm a huge fan of E.T., has been working with Mike Flanagan a lot and hasn't shied away from taking on some rather unsavory characters in his roles with Mike Flanagan. He was the abusive father in the backstory in Gerald's Game, and in this he's a stand-in for the Shining era Jack Nicholson. And I gotta say, man, it's one of those things where, doing carbon copies, like doing like a digital version of an actor, is fine to get the look right. I get why people do it. But having another actor attempt to embody and not do a caricature of, but just embody the same character rather than just do a carbon copy of Jack Nicholson. It reminds me of in Solo, what that guy was able to do. And again, wow, I'm crapping on names today, but the guy from Solo, he just did a good job of inhabiting the character, I felt, rather than just doing a Harrison Ford thing. And so we get to the Overlook Hotel in the third act of Dr. Sleep, which is different from the book. In the book, they do go to the Overlook, but they go to where the Overlook was, because in the book, the Overlook is destroyed. And in this, it just got shut down because they don't destroy it at the end of the original movie. And remember, Stephen King really disliked the changes Kubrick made from his book. What this movie attempts to do throughout its runtime, and particularly in this third act, is kind of meld those two things together, kind of be a love letter to Stephen King's original book, The Shining, be a good adaptation of Dr. Sleep, but also be a love letter to the original movie, The Shining, and kind of, I'll say, rebuild a bit of the bridges on some of the stuff Stephen King didn't like about the change and bent in the original Shining. So there's a scene where he walks into the Overlook where he says, I gotta wake it up. And he goes in and walks around in the Overlook. The lights start coming on their own. He goes and turns on the boiler. Because in the original book, the boiler has to be tended to. And in the original movie, they get at this too. But it ends up being the demise of the hotel is by them inhabiting Jack and causing him to be a ghost. Or not be a ghost, but like chase his family around. He quits his duties of trying to keep the hotel going. And so the place blows up because the overpressure goes off and, yada, 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 and all that. So that is how this version of the Overlook ends up meeting its demise as well. But it's Jack's son, Danny, played by Ewan McGregor, in one of the best performances he's ever given in a history of incredible performances. Goes and sets that up before he goes into the Gold Room. And what happened in the original Shining, when Jack goes to the bar at the Gold Room originally, he's met by Lloyd, the bartender, who is inhabited by the original caretaker that murdered his two, or the caretaker that they're being basically haunted by, who murdered his two kids, the twins. And now it's Jack as Lloyd. But Jack doesn't recognize that he's Jack because he's the hotel now. So Danny talks to him as if he's his dad. He's getting the closure with his dad he was never able to get. And Lloyd slowly breaks the facade of being Lloyd and the facial expressions and little tinges in the voice start becoming Jack. And it's an amazing, subtle, subdued performance. It gives me chills just to think of it. And for anyone that's listened to my brother's review of Dr. Sleep, we have some demons of our own with that. Our father was a long-time alcoholic, and it's what eventually took him down. And he had a unnecessarily, he had a love for this film that went past his normal, well, people say it's a good film. Something spoke to him deeply, and I think it was those personal battles with alcoholism that he had. Again, he wasn't abusive to us or anyone in our life like Jack was in the story, but he did use it to numb issues that he had and everything else. And this movie is such a incredible dive into a character's battle with alcoholism in Danny Torrance, on top of all the other subplots it has going on. And for him to meet his dad and have this conversation and this closure, it's such a beautifully brilliant, small and subtle scene in an already beautiful and brilliant movie, and it's perfect. I just love it. There's so many parallels with the original Shining movie in the book that they do. And then realizing after watching it through this time, something I didn't realize the first time, there's not a shot of reused footage from the original Shining. They recreate scenes from it, especially when Rose the Hat is trying to eat his shine later, and she's just going through and reliving the things from his childhood and loving it at a very disturbing level. I'll let you see it to understand, but what a performance from her. Jesus Christ. But these scenes are done with the new actress they have playing Shelley Duvall's character, who's incredible, and the guy playing Jack Torrance. And it's hard to tell the difference, man. The recreation of this stuff is just incredible. I know it's weird that a movie that I want to rewatch over and over and over again should probably be a feel-good movie. This movie hurts. But it's just so good. It's such a visceral, amazing experience for me. I wish those of you that missed it see it and get the same experience. Again, I will warn you, it is not an easy watch. I have 2 children. There are 2 very, very graphic, at least from what's going on, not necessarily from what they show, sequences involving children being kidnapped and other things that are extremely hard to watch, but that's the point. You have to know how dangerous these villains are. And it makes, when Rose threatens Abra, who's our main character here that's not Danny, with, when I get you, you will scream for years. It's just, you already know what she means because you saw what she meant with an earlier thing, and it's just beautifully written. It's horror. I won't call it scary. Like The Shining is scary. This movie is unsettling. But again, it's not a horror novel. It's more of a mystery, suspense. It's not. King has an awesome way of making genre stories that don't stick with one singular genre, and this movie kind of does the same thing. It's just great, man. I'll ramble forever, but watch Dr. Sleep. It's becoming a movie that I want to rewatch over and over again, and it is not short. It's Lord of the Rings length, especially the director's cut, but it needs to be. It's just wonderful. That's about all I got. Just want to send you some positivity. Hopefully this gives you something good to watch. Hopefully it doesn't set off your tension or trauma, with being at home. If it does, watch something happier like Scott Pilgrim. That's for you, Geeks with Shields guys, because I still love that movie and it's a feel-good film, and you be quiet. But just do something to make yourself happy today. Do something to get your mind out of it. We'll get by this, hopefully. You guys are great. This has been the Chippa. I'll see you on the other side. Bye. Oh, and get on over to Geeks with Shields. Speaking of that, get on over to Geeks with Shields Patreon, patreon.com/geekswithshields. The new Chipman Brothers Tangent episode, which was our first episode with guests, we did a crossover with the Geeks with Shields, is available now before it's available to any of my patrons or available to the public on Geeks with Shields Patreon, and you know you want to hear it. It's a long episode. It's over an hour long. We had an absolute blast recording with them. It's crazy and tangent-y and a blast. And get on over there now. What's $1? $1 gets you access to a show that you love before you can see it yet, and also gets you access to the Patreon benefits of the Geeks with Shields. And maybe you get through a month and go, you know what, I really like this, and you stick around. Maybe you want to contribute more. They're great guys. They're rocking it, and they need your support. So get on over to Geeks with Shields. New Chipman Brothers Tangent available only there right now. Again, I say this has been the Chippa. I'll see you guys on the other side. Bye.